Hey everybody, this is Tom with the Board Gamer. The Jarl has died, and you wish to take his place. But in order to do so, you must prove that you are no pushover. You will defeat trolls and draugrs, and even travel across the sea to fight even more dangerous monsters for more glory. But beware, if you ignore the troll, everyone will be blamed for the destruction it causes. So do you have what it takes to be the next Jarl? Well, prove it. And show that you are one of the champions of Midgard. Champions of Midgard is a 2 to 4 player worker placement game for ages 10 and up, with gameplay average of 60 to 90 minutes, published by Gray Fox Games. The basic overview of Champions of Midgard has you sending workers to collect warriors and supplies to defend against monsters, avoid blame, and collect glory over the course of 8 rounds. The player with the most glory by the end of the game wins. The game setup begins with the board front and center. Place the round marker on round 1. Shuffle market stalls, and depending upon the number of players, place up to 2 military tiles and 2 economic tiles. Place 2 public longships on the board by the shipwright. Place the other boats on the side of the board to be purchased later. If playing with 3 or 4 players, add the boats marked with the number of players on it. Shuffle troll, draugr, and monster cards separately, and place each deck on their assigned spaces. Shuffle rune cards, sage cards, merchant ship cards, and journey cards separately, and place them in their locations. Place all dice and tokens near the board. The player who most recently earned glory will take the first player marker, starting with the player to the right of the first player and continuing counterclockwise. Select your Viking leader and take the board. Once chosen, collect one of each resource: food, wood, coin, favor, and a single swordsman die. Grab the color of meeples and matching disc you wish to use. Place one disc on the glory track at 0 and the other on your leaderboard. Keep 3 workers and place the 4th meeple in the worker hut to hire later. Place any leftover meeples back in the box. To end setup, each player will get a random destiny card and prepare for battle. Now let's start a round. Begin by restocking. That means fill any empty spaces on the board and add Viking dice to locations. We will put a troll face up into play, 2 draugrs face up. Working down the board, we will flip 2 rune cards face up. At the swordsmith, add a swordsman die, a spear die at the hafter, and a berserker die at the blacksmith. And don't forget to add 1 food at the smokehouse. These will be added to every round, no matter if the location is empty or not. Continuing down the board, we will flip a merchant card face up. The journey cards, however, are all placed face down because the path to the monsters is unknown. It could be clear sailing or even a monster itself. And finally, at the bottom of the board, lay out the monsters face up. Before we start placing our workers, just a few helpful hints. Each location is color-coded to let you know what type of action is required. Brown locations, like the worker hut and markets, are resolved immediately. Blue locations, like the blacksmith and smokehouse, are also resolved immediately, but the blue is there to remind you to add to them each round. As for the red locations, these are combat locations. When placing your worker, You're reserving your combat for that round, but you are not required to place dice to attack until the assigning warrior phase. Only the public longships have brown and red. The reason behind this is that you have to pay immediately to use the ship. However, you will wait to assign your warriors until the assigning warrior phase. Now let's play around and activate some locations. Each player will take turns putting one worker down at a time. One of the most important locations is the troll. Reason being, the troll attacks the village, and if no one defeats the troll, all players receive blame. On the bright side, if you defeat the troll, you can assign one of your blame tokens to another player. You might be thinking, why does that matter? The answer is, blame counts as negative points at the end of the game. Blame tokens decrease your glory exponentially. 1 blame equals -1 glory. 2, -3. But 5 is -15 glory. So be careful not to ignore the troll. Now, in order to fight the troll, or any other creature, you will need warriors. These locations are the easiest way to gain warriors for free, but you can also use the market locations. Military market locations allow you to trade resources for warriors, but sometimes you need the resources to be able to get these warriors. So move towards the economic market, the church, the market, and merchant ship. These let you collect resources for little to no cost. Or even take your chances on the hunting ground. The hunting ground is the only location multiple players can use on the same turn. These areas help you with battle, but for more strategic advancement, you have the worker hut, the jarl's longhouse, the runesmith, and the sage house. The worker hut grants you an additional worker for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, the cost is highest for whoever goes there first. It costs 5 gold for the first person to claim their worker, 4 for the next, and so on. The jarl's house allows you to take first player marker and a swordsman. May not sound amazing, but in a worker placement game, going first really helps your chances. Runes give you a single-use leg up. For the cost of 1 wood, you can choose one of the face-up rune cards or draw one from the top of the deck. And for endgame points, the Sage's House allows you to draw a new destiny card. Not only that, it also allows you to peek at a journey card. These journey cards matter when you go to the shipwright or public longships. The shipwright lets you purchase a boat, and if you do not have one, you can rent a public boat. You use these boats to travel to distant land, to defeat stronger monsters that are worth more glory than the trolls and draugrs. But you must journey across the sea. To make these journeys, you must have enough food to feed your warriors as referenced here. These journey cards can either make or break a crew crossing the sea. Once all workers are placed, we can move to the assigning warrior phase. The assigning warrior phase is simple. You just place a number of dice you wish to take on each encounter. The way you determine how many and what dice to take depends on the creature you will be battling. Let's look at a few examples. On the left in red shows how hard the beast hits. And on the right in blue is the number of hits required to defeat it. At the bottom, from left to right, is the glory gained by defeating the creature, any combat restrictions, and any additional rewards. Once all dice are placed, we proceed to the combat phase. Combat is resolved in order starting from the hunting ground, to the troll, then the draugrs, and finally across the sea, starting from the left. When hunting, you do not have to assign any dice. The leftover dice on your player board are what you use to acquire food. Roll all dice, and if any hits indicated by a weapon are face up, you may gain as many food up to a maximum of 6. Next, the troll. Take your assigned dice and roll. Deal damage for every hit and prevent losing your dice with every shield in combat. If you roll poorly, you are allowed to use a favor token to re-roll any number of dice. You may do this as many times as you have favor tokens. Continue to roll until either running out of assigned dice or the troll runs out of health. If you defeat the troll, collect it along with 1 wood, and if you have any blame, assign it to another player. If not, we move on to the draugrs. Combat works the same. Just be sure to remove any dice if you placed any restricted dice on this card. Collect the card and rewards if you defeat it. Finally, moving on to the boats. They have a maximum capacity listed on them, and this capacity includes both dice and food. You must have enough to feed your warriors or lose them to the sea before fighting the monster. Flip the journey card below your boat. Resolve any effects, then feed your warriors. Any unfed warriors are discarded. Finally, fight the monster and collect any rewards if you defeat it. This completes a round. Next, reset the board, collect all your workers, and any warriors that survived their battles. Replace any cards that were removed this round. Discard any trolls or draugrs that were not defeated and replace them. If the troll was not defeated, give each player a blame token and add 1 coin to each undefeated monster. Reveal a new merchant card and add dice to each of the blue locations and a food to the smokehouse. If this is the final round, move on to final scoring. When scoring, begin by going over your destiny cards. If you satisfy the conditions, usually by having the most of something, you gain the higher glory. If you are tied or did not complete the condition, score the lower glory amount. Only the owner of the destiny card scores. Please be aware that monsters and draugrs have different colored backgrounds. For each set, 1 of each color, you score 5 extra glory. Runes and privately owned ships have glory amounts. Do not forget to add those. Now as for resources, each unused favor horn is worth 2 glory, and every 3 coins is worth 1 glory. With all the glory added, we end on the blame. Each player counts the number of blame they have, and based on that number, they subtract from their total glory. Once everyone has subtracted their blame, the player with the most glory wins. And that is how you play Champions of Midgard. If you would like me to go over the expansions for this game or have any other questions, check the rulebook or comment below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about new videos. If you're bored now, click this for more games.